everyone. In this recording, we'll learn how to complete a small accounting cycle in the SAP Fiori system. As accounting professionals, we all know accounting cycle is the foundation for any accounting system. It helps users to record all business transactions in journal entries, review account balances in different formats, and prepare financial statements eventually. In prior studies, we have practiced the accounting cycle manually or in Excels. This time, we'll experience in a real-world situation how the accounting cycle is processed with a sound ERP system. So let's log into our own Fiori Launchpad. Select Financial Accounting, and under the head of Accounting, we'll use the Post Journal Entry, Display Account Balances, and Balance Sheet Income Statement tiles to finish this small assignment. So in this accounting cycle, I created 7 simple accounting events. So we'll process them from making journal entry to the end of prepare financial statements. Let's start the work by open the post journal entry tile. And the page for entering journal entry is very similar when we work manually. We need all of the required elements for a journal entry, such as the transaction date, posting date, and the company code in this case will be our parent company for the GPI, and then the currency, the currency type. So if you don't have these inputs for the journal entry date, you can use a calendar. Okay, to put, I will use the same as today's date. And the journal entry type, just leave the default. Then company code, if you don't have it, put US 00. We all use US 00 as a company code for all of our SAP assignments, and the USD for the currency. Because the GBI, we have 2 subdivisions, the European and the North America. After the header information, and we can move on to the line item for the ledger accounts, debit, credit, and dollar amounts. For SAP inputs, if you see a red star for a field, means it's required. You couldn't leave it empty. But for other fields, if there's no red star, mostly it's optional. But for journal entry, I normally recommend put a quick reference. Okay, for this one, I will say the first one, prepay 3 months rent. So I will just put prepay rent. Excuse me. Under the line items, this is the place we enter all of the debit, credit account, and the dollar values. For most journal entries, we only need 2 ledger accounts, right? We all know from the prior knowledge. But if you need more than 2 accounts for your journal entry, you can use the add tab, okay, to add more line items. But I don't need it in this case, so I will just delete the third one. For line items, after you have the company code in the header, it should automatically transfer to the line items. If not, again, you can manually add. Then the debit account. So follow the rules of thumb. We put the debit account first before the credit account. Prepaid expense or prepaid rent. Under the SAP GBI, the account number for this is 19. So after you put some number, the system will have prompt for the related accounts. Be careful when you select from the list. So I'm going to read the brief the name for the account before you finalize your selection. So the 19 and the debit, the dollar value will be 6,000 on the debit. Then the credit account will be the cash. I will use our main bank account, the 18, all of the zeros. We have 3 bank accounts, like one. I will use the first one, okay, like for the purchase. And this one will be under credit for $6,000. So for one account, you only can have the dollar value under debit or credit, okay, one side only. Theoretically, now you can post, right? So post means you will save your inputs formally in the system. But again, for starting, I recommend use a simulate function to review your inputs, especially the numerical values, debit or credit, the directions before I formally post it. So click on the simulate. It's like a confirmation page. So you can see more like a actual journal entry on the paper, right? So review. If you have a unbalanced debit credit, the system will prompt a error message, remind you to warn you it's mismatched. But the system wouldn't tell you have you used the right account or not. Okay, for this part, please be careful. For example, if I choose a wrong debit account, incidentally or accidentally I use a maybe inventory or some other accounts, the system wouldn't be able to detect that. Okay. Or I used a wrong bank account. Okay, for the account choices, check by yourself. And then after that, we can formally post. And you will get a confirmation for the documentation number. If you haven't done anything, you should start your journal entry as 0, okay, or like 1 or zeros, because I already have some prior entries. So you can see mine is starting from 7. That's fine. After post, the journal entry couldn't be deleted. The SAP prohibits deleting journal entries once posting is done. The primary reason is for unauthorized transactions and leave all of the auditing trails. So that's like why I recommend to simulate before you post. But if you made a mistake, right? So like maybe the accounts or the dollar values, we can correct the error by reverse the wrong journal entry. So opposite. So put the opposite debit credit for the wrong journal entry and then add the correct one. Okay, that's only for those cases. So first journal entry, and then I will go back. So use the back button under your SAP system, not the back arrow for your browser. Okay, go back to the prior page. I'm going to add the second journal entry. So today's date, okay, again, and leave all of the other. And the reference for this one, the second transaction is purchase office supply. So I will just use, so buy supplies. Then the debit account should be a supply current asset. For DBI, I search all of the general ledger accounts. I think the closer one we can use is 101. Raw material, consumable, and supply accounts. Okay, and this one is the only choice. Okay, if I already put here and debit for $2,000 and purchase supply on account. We'll use accounts payable. In SAP, there is no accounts payable. They have a couple of trading payables available. For general trading payable, I will use the three. I think we have a three. Yeah, this one. Okay. So, no, I think in the list, they don't have this one because from the GL, we have that one. I know the reason because this one is not a direct posting account. The regular trading payable will be used when you have an actual purchase order to be processed, so receive the shipment. So the regular accounts payable is not a direct posting account. So let's use the other one. I believe this one works. And then this one we can use a credit for $2,000. For direct posting account means is you cannot manually add it in the system. It only can be used with the related business functions related to purchase and maybe like the sales for the sales revenue. I will explain more later for this direct posting account. And then simulate. So debit a asset and credit a accounts payable or trading payable and then post. So the system will continue number the paperwork as we move on to the new journal entries. So now go back to the prior page, work on the third transaction. This one is a cash revenue earned by the company, the date. So I will just put a cash revenue. So debit, I'm going to use the main bank account. And credit will be a sales revenue. Okay, so GL debit the 18 for 25,000. And the main revenue account is a sales revenue. And this is not a direct posting most in the case. And also this account will trigger some tax, right? Like a sales tax. But again, because we have an academic system, we can override this warning. Ideally, in a real world SAP system, we have to trigger, okay, we have to put some tax code, or you cannot use this account directly for manual journal entries. But again, for demo purpose, we can override the warning. So this account, I'm putting 25,000 on the credit. I will show what the warning look like. So now let's simulate. You'll get a warning for the revenue account, right? So the warning is this is related or relevant for tax. Please check your tax code. If you really work in a business, you will be able to know the tax code and add. For us, we can ignore the warning by click on OK. In SAP, the message green means green light, right? So you can move forward, no problem. But if you have a warning sign, uh, most likely you can override on, but you need to make sure this won't affect the outcome of our inputs. But sometimes if you see a check mark red, like a stop sign means error or mistake. For that message, you have to correct the related item before you proceed. For error message, you couldn't override. Okay, so that's some, okay, that thing. And then I will click on OK to override to ignore this warning. I'm sorry, like out. And then post. And finally, and I will do event number four, and I will leave you to finish the other three because number four, we have a new situation. I will let you know. So again, the date. And number four is recognize a expense for salary or wage. I will just put like salary expense. And this one I will use for the salary expense is the six, starting with six. So after you have the prompt, you see the company has three related expense account for wage and salaries. I will use the combo one, right? So because for demo, I'm not really, looking for the exact. So, but as long as it's a right salary expense and for 5,500. And then we have the cash payments. Or if in other case you can use a salary payable, but I'm assuming we are paying out of the bank account for this 5,500. So now it's similarly we finish, right? So debit expense and credit cash. Now we simulate and you will see what happened. As I mentioned, there is a error message because the expense account is related. We need a cost center. And in SAP is asking a account assignment because for responsibility purpose, SAP require for any expense to be recorded, to be added, we need to identify which function or which activity is responsible for this expense. And this will connect it to the managerial accounting functions. So for this salary expense, basically the system is asking who is responsible, which department or which activity I need to put match this expense okay with. So this one we couldn't get around. We can ignore the tax code, but not the account assignments. So I will click OK and add the required account assignments. To do that, did you see we have a arrow? So means we can expand the line item and add the related info. I will hit the enter for text code will override later. Okay, let's first add the account assignment under the cost center. So let's commonly use a pre-built cost center for the admin cost. Okay, we all use this, but when you actually work in a company, you will know which cost center or function you put this expense under with the cost object. So for this one, we all use the admin function pre-built. When we move on to the managerial accounting module, I hope we have some time. I can demo how to create a cost center under the managerial accounting function. We added this to ignore the text code because now the simulate or the posting all grayed out. To override the text code, let's just hit enter. Okay, just hit the enter key on your keyboard. Will activate the simulate and post function. So let's simulate. And now you can see we override the warning for tax code, debit expense, and credit the bank. Now we can formally post. And after that, we have three more journal entries, but I will leave you to finish because there is no new situations. You can use what we have learned from the prior four and finish the other three. And after that, we'll work on the balance display and the financial statement in the next reporting.